quite a bit of money in this comprehensive plan. And really what that is a blueprint for our future, not only the next 5, 10 years, but even 15 and 20 years out. And it's your plan, so I'm encouraged to see so many of you here tonight. I think we have rough count of about 100 people that are here. And so we want your full participation, and at the end of this year, we'll have a finished document. So we hired a company, a consulting firm, but actually they're urban planners that work all over the country, Hasselbean, and they're partnering with Farnsworth. So before I turn it over to them, I want to thank Dr. Heath for the use of the hall tonight, and introduce any trustees that are here. So trustees, would you stand up or raise your hand? I see Cheryl Carter and Beth Kazan, Sarah DeVore. Am I missing anyone? Okay, thank you all for being here. And we'll get through this together in probably an hour and a half tonight, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Mayor. Thanks for everybody coming out tonight. We're really excited. This is our first opportunity to meet with the public to kick off this comprehensive plan project. So before I get into the details and talk a little bit about the comprehensive plan, I just want to introduce our team, let you know who is working on this project, and also who will be coming around and helping you out as you start moving through the exercise tonight. So my name is Nick Davis. I work at Hustle Levine. We're a planning and design consulting firm. We were hired by the village to work on the village's comprehensive plan. I'm going to go over what a comprehensive plan is, what the timeline is. But as I do that, I just want to make sure everyone is aware. With me is Josh Coons. He's the project manager for this effort. Also from Hustle Levine, Trisha Parks. And then on our team is the Farnsworth group. And from Farnsworth group, we have Paul, Corey, and Jeff Martin. There's also some other people from Farnsworth group and one other person from Hustle Levine. But this is really the core team and the group that you'll be seeing throughout this process. And as we start working on the project, you'll become more and more familiar with us. We'll see you at future events, where who's responding to you when you start going onto the project website and that type of thing. So the first thing I want to do is, what is a comprehensive plan? What's the purpose? Why are we here? What are we hoping to accomplish? So a comprehensive plan is a roadmap for the village over the next 20 years. It's an all-encompassing document. It's going to include things like future land use, parks and open space, community facilities, transportation. There's going to be some detailed planning areas as well. And it really is a policy guide, a document that the village will use moving forward. The Board of Trustees, the ZBA, village department heads, you as residents or business owners or property owners will also use this document to really serve as like the guiding light for what you're trying to accomplish, like I said, over the next 20 years. A big part of what we're going to do tonight is establish the vision, the goals. What are we trying to do? What are specific projects? But what is that high-level aspirational? This is what we want to be 20 years from now, and how do we get there? So a big part of tonight's visioning workshop is hearing from the public. What do you want to see? What do you want to accomplish? It's going to be our job to make that a reality within the plan. One thing I do want to clarify: this is not regulatory. This is not the zoning code. What we recommend here will inform future maybe potential amendments or updates to the zoning code, but this is not zoning. They're very separate. This is high level. It's policy. It's that guiding document. Why do we do a comprehensive plan? It's a common community vision. I think it's something that with all these exciting projects and all these exciting efforts that are happening here in the Heights, there's a lot of opportunity to do some really neat things, but we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, that we're all moving in the same direction, and we're accomplishing what we as a community want to accomplish, not what just some might want to accomplish. It attracts potential investors. One of the key things about a comprehensive plan is it helps you apply for potential grants that are out there. One of the things that you'll hear from these agencies are, how does what you're asking for funding relate to what you have in your comprehensive plan? Does the comprehensive plan identify this as a potential project? Does the community support this? Those are things that they want to see before you start moving forward in the funding process. This also helps with planning municipal capital needs. So just identifying specific projects and having a general sense of how do we fund that, what's the phasing or the timeline, ultimately how can we achieve that recommendation through a series of actions or a series of steps. That's all going to be outlined in the comprehensive plan. And then that last component is aligning other regulations or other policies with the comprehensive plan. So again, this is kind of high level, and then from here there'll be additional studies, policy documents, initiatives within the government, initiatives from the community that should all be kind of working towards this is what we all agreed we wanted to do, now let's go do it. I'm going to give you a high level what the planning process entails. We're right in the middle of project initiation and community engagement. In fact, I think we can finally say we're in the community engagement. This is really our big kickoff. Project initiation included meeting with staff, meeting with department heads. We initiated and met with the advisory panel. Some of you tonight I can see are from the advisory panel. In fact, later on we'll do a show of hands. That advisory panel is going to be, or is made up of people from the public who are residents, business owners, property owners, maybe a stakeholder, or someone who's been active in the community or active in a residential district for a long time. Might be a new resident. So it's all these different really makeups of what you see in the community and would be able to give us insight. And ultimately they're going to serve as a sounding board. So throughout the process, not only are we going to be working with the village, but we're also going to be working with the advisory panel to get their feedback. Ultimately then when we bring things back to you, it should resonate. It should sound like something that, that makes sense. That's something we would like to see. And that refinement process will continue throughout the entire development of this plan. Tonight we're here at the Community Visioning Workshop. We've also launched the project website, which some of you, maybe not you, but some from the public have already participated on. We've already had people participate on the online surveys. So as a resident or a business owner, you can fill out a survey through the project website, and that'll have a little bit more in-depth questions. It's going to be similar to like what you're doing tonight, but some of the questions are a little bit more specific. It's about a 10 or 15-minute process. We also have an online mapping tool, very much like what we're doing tonight, but it allows you to do it online. So if there's anybody that wasn't able to participate tonight that you know, maybe a neighbor or a friend or someone who owns a business downtown or on War Memorial, let them know they can still participate. We definitely want to get their feedback. This isn't the last time we want to see everybody in this group. It's also not the last time people are going to be able to participate in a more public forum. Then step 3 is vision, goals, and policies. So that'll be the first time, we're still a few months away, but that'll be the first time our group actually starts creating recommendations. Right now we're just in information gathering mode. We want to hear what your issues are, what your potential opportunities might be. We don't have anything preloaded. We don't know what we want to accomplish here. We want to hear from you before we start going into those phases. A few months down the line, once we've done our homework, we've done our reconnaissance, we are going to start drafting preliminary vision, which is really going to be supported by what we're working on tonight. We're going to draft some goals that will support that vision, and then we'll also prepare a land use framework. That land use framework will identify uses that are appropriate in the heights as it relates to what we talked about in the vision and the goals. We'll end up presenting that to the advisory panel, to staff. That'll be going through a process, and ultimately we'll start developing these plan frameworks that'll be really specific. They'll talk about transportation, community facilities, parks and open space, all the components that make up a comprehensive plan. That draft document will once again come back. It'll go through a review process. We'll ultimately present that at an open house. I don't know if it'll be in this nice facility, but it'll be somewhere where everybody's going to have an opportunity to see it. Might be boards, might be a presentation, but there's going to be another opportunity for you to see where we're sort of at in the process and to give us your feedback and input. And then hopefully we move on to adoption. So once we work through this process, everybody's on the same page, we're doing what we need to be doing, it'll go through the adoption process. After adoption, the work really starts. I mean, this is still something that you as a community will need to continue to work on over the next 15, 20 years. Some things will be easier to accomplish. Some might take all of 20 years. Some might be so aspirational we don't achieve them, but that's okay. That's the purpose. We want to make sure that this is a very aggressive, in a good way, aspirational plan. You want to put all these goals and opportunities out there, and hopefully you're able to achieve a large amount of them. So what I'm going to do before we kind of switch gears and actually go into this exercise, this is so fitting because of the room we're in, and I apologize for those of you that want to enjoy this. We're going to split you up. So a lot of you came in, and I saw who you walked in with, and you sat with them at a table, and that's great, but we would like you to work with some other people that maybe you haven't worked with before. So we have 11 tables, so we're going to do 11 groups. So for those of you that remember, it's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4. When we get to 11, start back over at 1. So we're going to start right here. Can you say 1? Count it out.
Okay, so Trisha's passing out a packet. It's going to be coming around to the table. There's an agenda on the front, but I'm going to walk you through things so you don't need to pay too close of attention to that. When you get your packet, what I want you to do is go ahead and turn right away to page 2. Don't go any further. Okay, so they're coming around. If you're at a table, you have a number on your map. I already numbered the maps, so they correspond to the numbers you just counted off, and the numbers on your, and then you should go ahead and fill out the numbers on your handout. So appoint a scribe for the table. That's going to be the person who's going to be taking notes. And you should go ahead, when you get a chance as you're working through, there's a square in the top right corner of every page of this packet. You should number every page with the same number that's on your map. So page 2 is sort of an icebreaker page. The first thing I want you all to do is look at the first item on the page, identify assets. You're all living here in Peoria Heights, or you own a business in Peoria Heights, and you came out tonight to participate, so obviously you know what the assets and kind of priority places are in the community. So use that sheet of stickers. The color doesn't matter, but just go ahead and stick the stickers where some key assets are. Go ahead and stick it on your house if you want. So you can label the assets right on the map. You can write notes about them in the packet. Remember, we're going to collect them all together, so whatever you decide to do, that's fine. Yeah, these are, I would say these are mostly things that you can put a dot on a map for. If you have assets that are like good neighbors or something like that, feel free to write in the packet. Okay, folks, you can keep sticking those all night long. We're not stopping. The stickers are still on your table. If you need more, I'll give you some more. I want to shift gears though. Issues and concerns in the village. This isn't really something that we can necessarily put on the map, but I want you to go ahead and with your group, maybe pick together as a group your top 4 or 5 issues and concerns facing the village. No matter what they are, that goes in your packet in the second slot here. And brainstorm with your group. What are some things facing the village that are issues and concerns? Any questions I can come around and answer, just raise your hands, or Trisha, or Nick, Paul, Jeff. Okay, folks, keep in mind this page 2 is just kind of we're still in the icebreaker stage here. So, together with your group, you're thinking about assets, you're thinking about issues and concerns. I want to throw one more thing at you, and I want you to start thinking about some vision ideas for the village. You don't have to wordsmith this. This can be just jotting down ideas. But there's some guidance on the screen above you. So work with your group and write down what your vision is for Peoria Heights. You don't need to have a finely crafted sentence, but just jot down some thoughts from the group. You have your assets, you have your issues. What should Peoria Heights look like and feel like in the next 20 years? 20 years from now, 2040. We're going to move on to page 3 and the rest of the packet, really. And this is where we're going to start using those markers that are on your table. You can always go back to to page 2 as you're working through things if you think of something. On your maps, you're going to have a list of topics. You have residential areas, or some mappable items. Residential areas, commercial areas, light industrial or manufacturing areas, transportation and mobility, parks, open space, environmental features, community facilities and infrastructure, downtown improvements, and then in other category. So in a way, we're kind of starting to draw some of our vision ideas that we worked on the last page. We're starting to put those on the map with your group. We're not talking necessarily about existing things anymore. We're talking about things that you want to see in your community in the future. So as you're marking, things like areas for new housing on the map or new trails, I want you to take notes in your packet that explain what you marked on the map. And that should all be taken by one person, please. Okay, a couple big ideas in a minute or so. Tell me what sort of consensus you came to for your map.
Okay, we wanted to talk about more walkability, accessibility in the area, connecting the park district with the downtown district and making sure that we can kind of get that going down to, is it Al Fresco Park that's coming up? So that we can have more pathways through that. Bike paths through from War Memorial to the Visit District up into the Prospect Heights area. So having Safeway bike paths to connect to the already Rock Island bike path. Again, safety for kids in the area, makes it more sustainable for families to want to move into the area. And then also adding more residential / commercial properties so they can be used for both. And that way you're using spaces that can be utilized on the main floor for businesses and then upper levels for families and or new workers in the area, Gen Xers, all that good stuff. And then, let's see, what else do we have? Adding charging stations and or water ports along the bike paths so that kids in the summertime can go get water. People biking in the area right now, we have a lot of people that leave water out before they do their runs and stuff, so making that accessible, so that'll again create more of an outdoor feel in our area, which is what we want. More walking space and what else?
Road diet.
What?
Road diet.
Oh yeah, the road diet, which is taking Prospect down from the 4 lanes to 2 lanes so that we can have that more as a bike path. Right now it just goes through the heights and we want people to be in the heights. So creating bike path and walkability, taking that down so people aren't using us as a cut through, but are actually spending time in our community and using other outlets to go around the community if they're just using it as a cut through. That way then we can work on beautification of the area, adding more trees, more landscaping, and again, spots for bikes and everybody to create kind of that walkability community that we want. And what else? Also expanding along the Lena to have a bike path going from the downtown Peoria area coming through that community. So then we can get people that are utilizing that whole space and it's not just kind of separating the heights, but bringing all of the heights together. And then a small commercial district as well down there, which is across from the Ivy Club, which is not being utilized to its potential right now, and then it wouldn't take away from the green space or the current community space.
Awesome.
I think that's it.
Very nice. Let's give them a round of applause. Yeah, please keep your map face side up on the table so as people exit in a little bit. Everybody can take a look at what everybody did.
Our two ideas, first of all, bringing more manufacturing work jobs to the area. So we just found, there are a couple different places, not a lot, over by the Heights Library. Maybe attractive land over there where there could be a business build or something like that that will support the restaurants at lunch and tax dollars, etc. And our second thing was talking about more residential and trying to keep, middle income families or homes, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes. And one of our people said that there's a place down below the hill where there's some land down there. Maybe that would be an area to develop residential.
Awesome. Map looks great. Thank you, folks. Couple big ideas from table 9.
Obviously, we're concerned with children because we brought our children. So we are focused more on like the kids' rec centers, and you'll see that in like the green areas that we think that could possibly locate a rec center. We also are concerned with the middle class, blue collar housing. We want to bring more to that, to our area. We are focused, obviously, on possibly developing, like everybody has said so far, like the al fresco, kind of bringing like restaurants down off of 29, and maybe developing more houses down there that are going to be along on the opposite side, same side as like Ivy Club. And then we also have areas back in this area, kind of like behind the high school, the grade school area, to redevelop. There's a bunch of housing back there that needs some help. But I mean, for the most part, it's going to be more of the recreation and housing for the middle class.
Something for our kids.
Something for the kids is our number one.
We have 2 grade schools and have 1 grade school with 1 little tiny playground. We have nothing for these kids. We don't have a baseball field.
Yes, we need a baseball field if anybody wants to help.
Okay, something for the kids, and thank you for bringing the future of Peoria High to this meeting. Thank you.
Practically every case is probably the lack of middle income family housing. We asked some of the people walking around, we can't really get a good definition of that term. We're looking at, people at a $150,000 house, roughly is going to be a person making $75,000 a year. And we came, just at our table, we were really frustrated that the new developments that are going on now are being priced in the $400,000 to $500,000 range. That's not affordable middle class income housing. And that's an area that we thought was very important that we looked at. The vision stuff is making the entire village more walkable. Making the entire village more walkable. There are many areas, especially right across from the school here, where there are not sidewalks. The connections to the trail that could funnel more people to it are difficult. And those kind of work is going to make it more family friendly, which is going to be more people. We wanted to see development of a commercial recreational along 29, because that's going to be an area, especially if we get it slowed down to 45 with lights, that's going to open that area up more easily to traffic, which is going to make it easier for people to go to restaurants, bars, recreation areas there. And it'll also open up for residential in the open areas down there. That's 29 could be an area for all of the concerns. That's pretty much where we were focused on.
Awesome. Thank you, folks. Round of applause. Couple big ideas for Peoria Heights.
Yeah. We talked about Children's Museum, Community Center, pavilions, being outdoor, somewhere also to have entertainment. Herschel's could be hopefully utilized for something like that, maybe the pump house, and then by the library, having more outdoor activities and things like that would be more family-oriented things that children would be able to come to and participate in. Also, a community garden, maybe even around an area like that, where people, by the library, where people could, grow some of their own food and save some of their own grocery money. Two, we had some green space down Prospect. If it could be, some brick paving maybe on the road and wider sidewalks and some benches, flowers, flower beds, just more green space down all of Prospect, from like Glen to the north. And then the turn and the first pavement on the road. And then a splash park pad at like Lions Park, something like that. Baseball diamond down at Vehicle Park. And then lighting down the trail and benches, a drinking station, and then a roundabout at Peoria and Prospect that might possibly make it safer for crossing the road there for people who are on bikes and using the trails. And then senior housing. I myself have heard a lot of people say that they would love to move to the Heights as seniors, because there's nowhere where you can go in Peoria or in the general area where you can live and walk to restaurants, a library, entertainment, all the way down to the Heights. coffee bars. I mean, we have so much here, and seniors are needing places like that to be able to just walk to. So somewhere for senior housing that we can close to. So that's my guess. People had thought that maybe from, where was it from, Monroe? To Glen, you know, thought that the road paved through there, they thought it would make it nice and accessible.
Take a little bit of your traffic flow off of Prospect, and you have that down there to the lane. And then you have another direction to come around. Right,
Yeah.
especially events when we're walking down the
Okay, thank you so much. That was great. Thank you. What table are we looking at here? Table 3. Big ideas for table 3.
First of all, it's very hard for us to hear what's being said, so I don't know how much I'm repeating. I've got 3 things here is what I was told to do, and they're in no particular order. The prevailing wage for residential is not feasible to have and build affordable housing for the middle class. 2-lane Prospect, which would make it pedestrian friendly, as well as development in the area south of Prospect. It was specifically mentioned no diagonal parking on Prospect. Our 3rd thing was educational opportunities in the public schools, the middle and high school, improved to encourage people to send children to them.
Okay, thank you so much, Sean.
Right, so our spokesperson left. So I think we're repeating a lot what everybody else is saying, but our top ones, we're really trying to identify an opportunity to create more affordable housing. And looking at our neighborhoods, we get to take some of the smaller homes and bungalows and keep what we have, restore it, and add on so that we can have that middle range housing. So that's very important. The other thing we've noticed is we have such a disconnect from the lower Peoria Heights to the upper Peoria Heights, and there are all these beautiful opportunities to create that because we'll see commercial, residential, everything start connecting. Even something that's pedestrian, like bring back the old Gibson path that you literally can walk from top to bottom. But that connection is really important because we have something nobody else has, which we have beautiful parks and we have a beautiful river, and we need to start connecting that, connecting our natural resources and connecting our upper and lower. We did, I think I heard community gardens in neighborhoods, trying to find these little pockets of opportunities where we could either do community gardens or just something really small park where you could push the stroller and the kids and play. And then we're looking at our corridors, and we have a nice look going on in the downtown, but we have our corridors where it doesn't feel as safe in walking on the sidewalks, and we don't have a presence like right when you're coming into Peoria Heights at these spots where you know you're coming in. It's really welcoming because that's what our village is. We have an intimacy that we want to keep. So we're excited about development, but we also want to keep our personality.
Okay, thank you. Love the map. Let's see a show of hands if we can hear all the way in the back.
All right, so like many people have already mentioned, we were thinking that we need some more garden and green space in town. We identified the area behind the library, already being an open as an area that would be perfect for community gardens, as others have mentioned. Something that someone in our group mentioned that we hadn't heard yet was a arbor of some variety with like apple trees and cherry trees that you can go and pick when they're in bloom, just to kind of help with some of the keeping fresh fruits and vegetables in the area. They identified an area in the old past buildings where they used to be as an area that we needed slightly higher density housing in with some shops and stuff along the bottom, and then the upper 2 stories need more affordable housing. They still, like Stu mentioned, is very walkable. You don't even need a car. You can get to the grocery store. You can get to everything you need without actually needing a car. We also came up with the idea of connecting everything together, including some sort of trolley or like seasonal transportation that would run from Junction City, come down to Prospect, make some sort of loop, go down to the park, then speed it all down to the bottom, and then come back up Peoria Drive. Again, it would be something for people to come to the heights and see, and give other people alternative transportation to and from the upper and lower parts of Peoria Heights. We also identified the lower part of Prospect as needing vast improvements for pedestrians and bicycle traffic. Again, we need some sidewalks there, some traffic calming going on as well to really open that up and make it more pedestrian friendly. And the little section down along War Memorial was identified as some place that we could have some more improved commercial spaces. And some of those places that are right up against War Memorial, probably not the most attractive places people wanting to live. This should be an opportunity to encourage some commercial development there as well. And again, to improve the pedestrian traffic along that as well to kind of take off some of the burden of War Memorial as you're walking down that.
Very nice, and thank you for not being constrained by the note clock.
A lot of the things that have been said already, I think our three main categories were school system, infrastructure, and affordable housing, like other people have said here this evening. As far as the school system and affordable housing goes, one thing that people are identifying senior housing, which we agree with. I don't know if we really necessarily want to just call it senior housing. We'd like to call it maybe zero lot line, retirement, maybe starter homes, young family homes, just people that don't want the maintenance of a yard and they want to have walkability within our downtown Prospect corridor area. Yeah, so the other thing is going to the schools. We thought we needed more programming to really entice young families into this area to live in this affordable housing. And then we identified we have a tremendous amount of green space. We're very fortunate to have it. We need to develop along where the new Al Fresco Park is going to be and across the street, potentially with camping there and to the north of the Ivy Club near Poplar Park. That area kind of floods, and there are existing homes there. Not that we want anyone to leave their home, but this is 20 years in the future. So that's something that can be looked at. We also thought that the Ivy Club needed to be more tapped into as a fantastic resource, and it would be more of a public-private relationship and more welcoming to voters and people living in the area. And we talked about the connectivity also with the upper and lower Peoria Heights with the addition of a trolley, walking trails, hiking trails, that type of thing. Oh, I know. On the south side of War Memorial in Peoria Heights area, we talked about defining that residential and commercial area and cleaning it up. And we also talked a lot about code enforcement and really cleaning up the neighborhoods and infrastructure. Specifically in this area, this is where we are tonight, the school, and there's very little for the existing families and kids attending Peoria High. They can't really get to because there aren't sidewalks to school, so they have to come through these neighborhoods and then go up there. So that's what the specific area of infrastructure.
Thank you very much.
Our two major things were residential. We kind of identified two areas in residential that we could definitely kind of focus on. Below the hill, Helena Road area, there is property down there that's available now that we can definitely get some kind of neighborhood in. And the area by Alwyn's Division Boulevard, and on the other side of War Memorial, just cleaning that up, making that like the rest of the heights where it's, you know what I mean. And then our other thing is sidewalks, gutters, accessibility. I mean, it's what everybody said too. Residential is probably our biggest, and we got to get the residential going so the school system can get there. School system has to do its thing. Residential, it all kind of goes together. So pretty much the same.
Thank you. There were some specifics in there. Thank you. You're gonna hold and speak. Okay.
Basically on the same page as everybody else. It's develop Galena Road, and as far as the residential is concerned, just use what we have. Like, just use what we have. Like, we have a whole bunch of crappy rental houses and vacant houses that we could overtake, the city could overtake, add on top, make them 3 to 4 bedroom houses with 2 baths, and that would bring in like families and then add on to the tax, you know, raising the tax money from those houses would obviously be more than a vacant house. So then you get the income from there. And then on the Galena Road side, I know there's flooding down there, but you can always build around that. It's the only area, one of the only areas I've ever seen where there's like not like condos and restaurants and stuff like that built along a riverfront or any type of water. So condos, maybe a restaurant down there on the riverfront, and then along Prospect, down there from like McDonald's to Lake Street, kind of zone as like a commercial type area, maybe like the first half of that block as people are moving out. It's kind of a way to get more businesses, smaller businesses, I guess.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, folks, so I just want to stress that this isn't the last time to participate in this process. There's going to be more times when we're out here talking to the community, and there's also opportunities to participate online. I think there are some half-sheet postcards on your table that has this same information on them. So go ahead and take them home. If you type in this address, hla.fyi/Peoria Heights, into your browser, you don't need to lead with the www or an HTTP. Just put that right in the browser, and it'll take you into the comprehensive plan website. This is a website that's dedicated to this planning process. It's also accessible via the village's website. You have an opportunity to, I'm going to go back a second. Right there in the middle, you can click and you can do a similar mapping exercise online. You can also take the questionnaire that gets at some of these same issues and opportunities that we were talking about here tonight. I think that's that. This is what map.social looks like. As this starts to be populated with your friends and neighbors, you can click and you can see everybody's map on the same website all together. So it's a really cool tool. You know, if you know somebody who likes computers and wasn't able to come out tonight, you can get on there and start mapping some stuff. It's a great opportunity to continue the participation process throughout this time. I think with that, that's all that we have for you tonight. Please leave your maps and your packets on the table. We're going to collect those. And thank you all so much. Oh, and the sign-in sheets. Please sign the sign-in sheets if you haven't, and please leave those on the table as well. Thank you all so much for participating tonight. We really appreciate it. Thank you.